The parking garage beneath Sterling Tech Tower sits 3 levels underground, dimly lit by fluorescent tubes that hum with an electrical exhaustion matching the janitor who works here. Marcus Chen pushes his cleaning cart past rows of expensive vehicles, their polished surfaces reflecting fractured light. BMWs, Teslas, Mercedes, cars worth more than he earns in 3 years. His own car waits in the far corner, a 2009 Honda Civic with a dented rear bumper and a passenger door that sticks in humid weather. The paint has faded from navy blue to something closer to gray, but it runs. That's what matters. It's 2:47 a.m. Marcus has been cleaning since 6 p.m. the previous evening. 8 hours of mopping executive bathrooms, emptying trash bins, polishing glass doors smudged with fingerprints of people who never look at him. His back aches, his shoulders burn, but he has 2 more floors to finish before his shift ends at 7 a.m. Then he'll drive home, wake up his 8-year-old daughter Lily, make breakfast, pack her lunch, walk her to school. Then maybe, if he's lucky, he'll sleep 4 hours before the cycle begins again. His phone buzzes. A text from Mrs. Park, his elderly neighbor who watches Lily overnight for $20 a shift. It's less than he should pay, but it's what he can afford. And Mrs. Park never complains. Lily had a good night. She drew you another picture. It's beautiful. Marcus smiles, tired but genuine. Lily draws constantly. Superheroes, princesses, families holding hands. She tapes them to the walls of their small apartment until there's barely any bare space left, each one signed in careful letters. To Daddy. Love, Lily. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Marcus pockets his phone and returns to work. 2 floors, that's all. Then he can go home to the one person who makes every exhausting hour worth it. But tonight, something is different. As Marcus rounds the corner near the executive parking section, he notices something odd. A figure slumped against the driver's side door of a silver Porsche. At first he thinks it's a drunk employee, someone who partied too hard after work. But as he moves closer, pushing his cart quietly across the concrete, recognition hits him like cold water. Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Tech, founder, visionary, billionaire, the woman whose company employs 3,000 people and generates $2.5 billion in annual revenue, the woman whose office Marcus cleans every night, careful not to disturb the perfectly arranged desk, the awards lining the walls, the framed magazine covers declaring her one of the most powerful women in tech. She's sitting on the garage floor back against her Porsche, knees pulled to her chest, head down. Her designer blazer is wrinkled, her usually perfect hair falls loose around her shoulders, and she's crying. Not loud, theatrical sobs, quiet, broken sounds that echo off concrete walls. Marcus stops walking. His cart squeaks once, then falls silent. He should leave, should pretend he didn't see. Rich people don't want witnesses to their vulnerability, especially not from people like him, people they don't notice, people who exist in the margins of their world. But something holds him there. Maybe it's the way her shoulders shake. Maybe it's the rawness of her pain, so visible, so human. He clears his throat softly. Miss Sterling? She doesn't respond, doesn't even lift her head. Marcus steps closer, leaving his cart behind. Miss Sterling, are you hurt? Do you need help? This time she looks up. Her eyes are red, mascara smudged beneath them. She stares at him but doesn't seem to actually see him. Her gaze is distant, unfocused. I'm fine, she whispers, but her voice cracks on the word fine. You don't look fine, Marcus says gently. She laughs, a bitter sound with no humor in it. Who are you? Marcus Chen. I clean the building. Your office, actually. Oh. She looks away, embarrassed. I didn't mean... I'm sorry, It's okay, Marcus interrupts. You don't have to explain, but sitting on a garage floor at 3 a.m. doesn't usually mean things are okay. Victoria closes her eyes. For a long moment she says nothing. Then, so quietly, Marcus almost misses it. My mother died tonight. The words hit heavy, final. Marcus feels his chest tighten. He knows that particular grief, knows the way it hollows you out from the inside. I'm sorry, he says, and he means it. She had a stroke 6 months ago, Victoria continues, as if she can't stop now that she's started. I put her in the best facility money could buy. Private nurses, specialists, experimental treatments. I paid for everything. She looks down at her hands, expensive rings glittering under harsh, fluorescent light. But I barely visited, maybe once a month. I was too busy, too important. Too many meetings, too many deals. Her voice breaks again. She died alone, and I was in a conference call negotiating a merger. They told me after she was already gone. Marcus doesn't know what to say, what words could possibly matter here. He does the only thing he can think of. He sits down beside her on the cold concrete floor, not too close, respecting her space, but close enough that she knows she's not alone. My wife died 4 years ago, Marcus says quietly. Cancer, stage 4 by the time they caught it. She fought for 18 months. Victoria turns to look at him, really look at him, for the first time. Toward the end, she was in so much pain, Marcus continues. I took a leave of absence from my job to stay with her. Lost that job because of it. Burned through our savings on medical bills. He pauses, swallowing hard. But I was there when she died, holding her hand, and she knew she wasn't alone. Silence settles between them. Not uncomfortable, but weighted with shared understanding. I don't know how to do this, Victoria whispers. How to feel this. I've spent 20 years building walls, being strong, never showing weakness. And now the walls don't work anymore, Marcus finishes. No, she agrees. They don't. They sit together in that underground garage, two people from completely different worlds, connected by the universal language of grief. Minutes pass. Neither speaks. Finally, Victoria stands slowly, wiping her eyes. She looks at Marcus, still sitting on the ground. Thank you, she says, for just sitting with me. Marcus stands too, brushing concrete dust from his work pants. Sometimes that's all anyone needs. She nods, fumbling for her car keys. Her hands shake as she tries to unlock the door. The key slips, clatters to the ground. She bends to pick it up, and Marcus notices something he didn't see before. She's unsteady, not just emotionally, but physically, swaying slightly. Miss Sterling, he says carefully, have you eaten anything today? She blinks, confused by the question. I don't remember. Have you slept? No. Marcus makes a decision. You shouldn't drive, not like this. I'm fine, she insists, but even as she says it, she leans against the car for support. No, you're not. His voice is firm but kind. Let me call you a car, Uber, Lyft, whatever you want. I need my car, she argues weakly. Your car will still be here tomorrow. You won't be much use to anyone if you crash it into a wall tonight. For a moment, he thinks she'll argue, but then her shoulders sag. The fight drains out of her. I don't want to go home, she whispers. The house is too big, too empty, too quiet. Marcus understands that too. The first months after his wife died, their apartment felt like a mausoleum. Every corner held memories that cut like broken glass. Do you have friends? Family you could stay with? She shakes her head. My mother was all I had left. My father died 10 years ago. I never married, no siblings. I have employees, business associates, people who want things from me, but no one I can call at 3 a.m. to say I'm broken. The admission costs her. Marcus sees it in the way she flinches after speaking. He should leave now, should walk away, finish his shift, go home to Lily. This woman isn't his responsibility. She has resources, money, people she pays to handle situations like this. But he thinks about what his wife used to say. Kindness doesn't check bank accounts, Marcus. It just shows up when it's needed. Okay, he says, here's what we're going to do. You're going to give me your car keys. I'm going to drive you home. Make sure you get inside safely. Then I'll take an Uber back here, finish my shift. You don't have to. I know I don't have to, but I'm going to anyway. Victoria stares at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she hands him the keys. The drive to Victoria's house takes 40 minutes. She lives in Pacific Heights, where every home costs more than Marcus will earn in 10 lifetimes. The Porsche handles like a dream, smooth and powerful. Marcus drives carefully, aware of every turn, every red light. Victoria sits in the passenger seat, staring out the window at the dark city sliding past. She doesn't speak. Marcus doesn't push conversation. When they arrive, the house is exactly what Marcus expected. Modern, massive, surrounded by a high wall and security gate. Victoria punches in a code and the gates swing open silently. Marcus pulls into the circular driveway, parks near the front entrance. The house looms above them, all glass and steel and calculated angles. Every light is off. It looks more like a museum than a home. "Thank you," Victoria says as she unbuckles her seatbelt. Her voice is hollow, exhausted. "Will you be okay?" Marcus asks. "I don't know," she admits, "but I'll figure it out. I always do." She opens the door, steps out. Then she pauses, looks back at him. "What's your name again?" "Marcus Chen." "Thank you, Marcus Chen." She says his full name like she's committing it to memory. "You're a kind man." Before he can respond, she closes the door and walks toward her house. Marcus watches until she's inside, until the front door clicks shut behind her. Then he pulls out his phone, orders an Uber back to Sterling Tech Tower. While he waits, he texts Mrs. Park, "Running a bit late. We'll pick up Lily by 8:30, thank you." The Uber arrives 10 minutes later. Marcus climbs into the back seat, giving the address. As they drive away from Pacific Heights, back toward the industrial part of the city where Sterling Tech Tower rises like a monument to ambition, Marcus closes his eyes. He's tired, so tired, but there's a warmth in his chest that wasn't there before. The warmth of knowing he did something good, something right, with no expectation of reward. He has no idea that in 3 weeks, that single act of kindness will collide with his life in ways he cannot possibly imagine. No idea that Victoria Sterling, in her grief and gratitude, will begin noticing things she never noticed before. And no idea that his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, is about to stumble into a truth that will unravel everything. 3 weeks later, the morning starts like every other morning. Marcus's alarm screams at 6:15 a.m. He slaps it silent, drags himself out of bed, showers in 4 minutes flat. By 6:30, he's in the kitchen making breakfast. Scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice. Simple, fast, nutritious enough. "Lily," he calls, "time to get up, sweetheart." A groan echoes from the small second bedroom. 5 more minutes. "You said that yesterday and we were late to school. Come on, let's go." More groaning, but he hears movement, the shuffle of small feet hitting the floor. Marcus plates the eggs, sets the table. Their apartment is small, just 650 square feet. Kitchen, living room, 2 tiny bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The walls are thin. He can hear their neighbor's TV through the drywall, but it's home. It's theirs. Lily appears in the doorway, still in her pajamas, hair sticking up in 7 different directions. She's 8 years old, small for her age, with her mother's eyes and Marcus's smile. "Morning sunshine," Marcus says. She climbs into her chair, yawning. "Morning, Daddy." They eat in comfortable silence. Lily picks at her eggs, pushes them around her plate. Marcus notices but doesn't comment. Some mornings she's hungry, some mornings she's not. He's learned not to fight every battle. "What are you learning about in school today?" he asks. "Fractions," she says, making a face. "They're confusing." "Want me to help you with homework tonight?" "Yes, please." After breakfast, Lily gets dressed while Marcus packs her lunch. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, apple slices, carrot sticks, a juice box. He adds a note on a napkin. "You're smart, you're kind, you're loved. Have a great day, Daddy." He leaves these notes every day. Lily saves them in a shoebox under her bed. At 7:20, they walk to school together, hand in hand. The walk takes 15 minutes. Marcus savors everyone. These morning walks are his favorite part of the day, just him and Lily, talking about nothing and everything. "Mrs. Park said I can help her garden this weekend," Lily says. "She's planting tomatoes." "That sounds fun. Can we grow tomatoes?" Marcus glances at their apartment building as they pass it. No yard, no balcony, barely enough room for the furniture they have. "Maybe we can get a small pot, grow them on the windowsill." Lily beams. "Really? Really?" They reach the school at 7:35. Marcus walks her to the gate, kneels down to her level. "Be good today, okay?" "Always am," she grins. He kisses her forehead. "Love you, kiddo." "Love you more, Daddy." She runs toward the entrance, backpack bouncing. At the door, she turns, waves. Marcus waves back. Then she's inside, and he's alone again. The walk back to the apartment takes 15 minutes. Marcus climbs the stairs to the third floor, unlocks the door, collapses onto the couch. He sets his alarm for noon. 4 hours of sleep. That's all he needs, but sleep doesn't come easily. His mind keeps circling back to work, to bills, to the maintenance notice taped to his door yesterday. The building is raising rent by $200 a month starting next quarter. $200 he doesn't have. He closes his eyes, forces himself to breathe slowly. He'll figure it out. He always does. Finally, exhaustion wins. He drifts into restless sleep. At Sterling Tech Tower, Victoria Sterling stands in her office, staring out floor-to-ceiling windows at the city below. 3 weeks have passed since her mother's death. 3 weeks since that night in the parking garage when Marcus Chen sat beside her on cold concrete and made her feel less alone. She's thought about him more than she cares to admit. His kindness given freely with no expectation of return. His quiet strength, the way he drove her home, made sure she was safe, then left without asking for anything. She learned his full schedule from HR. Night shift janitor, 6 p.m. to 7 a.m., 6 days a week, hired 4 years ago, never missed a shift, never filed a complaint, never caused problems, invisible. That's what people like Marcus are designed to be in companies like hers. Essential but invisible. She's ashamed it took a breakdown in a parking garage for her to actually see him. She's tried to do something about it, called HR 3 times, asked about raises, promotions, better opportunities for janitorial staff. Each time she received the same response. They're contracted through an outside vendor. We don't control their wages or advancement. Red tape. Corporate structure designed to keep people like Marcus exactly where they are. But Victoria Sterling didn't build a $2.5 billion company by accepting can't as an answer. She picks up her phone, dials her assistant. "Get me the contract with our janitorial services company. I want every detail. And schedule a meeting with their CEO tomorrow." "Yes, Miss Sterling." She hangs up, returns to staring out the window. Somewhere out there, Marcus is sleeping in a cramped apartment, exhausted from another night of cleaning offices belonging to people who never learn his name. That's going to change. She doesn't know how yet, but it will. 2 days after the warehouse incident, Marcus wakes to his phone buzzing insistently. He fumbles for it in the dark, squinting at the bright screen. 5:47 a.m., a number he doesn't recognize. Hello? His voice is rough with sleep. Marcus Chen, a woman's voice, professional, clipped. Yes, who is this? This is Rebecca Moss from Sterling Tech HR. I need you to come to the main office today at 2 p.m. for a meeting. Marcus sits up, suddenly wide awake. HR never calls with good news. What's this about? I can't discuss it over the phone. Just be here at 2. Don't be late. The line goes dead. Marcus stares at his phone, dread pooling in his stomach. This is it. They found out about the warehouse somehow. Victoria must have reported what happened. Or maybe the security footage showed something. Maybe they think he was trespassing or, worse, stalking her. He's going to lose his job. His hands shake as he sets the phone down. Without this job, he has nothing. No way to pay rent, buy food, keep Lily in school. The apartment rent increase is already going to stretch him beyond his limit. Losing his income entirely would be catastrophic. He forces himself out of bed, goes through the morning routine on autopilot, wake Lily, make breakfast, pack lunch, walk to school. But his mind is somewhere else, spiraling through worst-case scenarios. At the school gate, Lily looks up at him with worried eyes. "Daddy, you're squeezing my hand too tight." He releases immediately. "Sorry, sweetheart, just thinking." "About what?" "Grown-up stuff. Nothing for you to worry about." She studies his face with the unsettling perception 8-year-olds sometimes possess. "Are you scared?" Marcus kneels down, cups her face gently. "A little, but I'll be okay. We'll be okay." "Promise?" He swallows hard. "Promise." After she disappears into the school, Marcus walks home in a daze. He can't sleep, can't sit still. He cleans the apartment, does laundry, washes dishes that are already clean, anything to keep his hands busy, his mind distracted. At 1:15 p.m., he changes into his best clothes, a button-down shirt from Goodwill, dress pants he bought for his wife's funeral, shoes he polishes until they almost look new. He catches the bus to downtown, arrives at Sterling Tech Tower at 1:45. The building looks different in daylight, gleaming glass and steel, imposing, intimidating. He's only ever seen it at night, empty and quiet. Now it bustles with purpose, people in expensive suits, hurrying through the lobby, speaking into phones, carrying tablets and coffee cups. Marcus feels intensely out of place. He takes the elevator to the 5th floor, finds the HR department. The receptionist barely glances at him. "Name?" "Marcus Chen. I have a 2 o'clock meeting." She types something. "Have a seat. Someone will be with you." He sits in an uncomfortable chair, hands clasped between his knees. Around him, employees come and go. No one looks at him. He might as well be invisible. 20 minutes pass, then 30. Marcus checks his phone. 2:32 p.m. They're making him wait. That's never a good sign. Finally, a door opens. "Marcus Chen?" He stands quickly. "Yes, this way." He follows her down a corridor, past cubicles and conference rooms, until they reach a large office at the end. The door is already open. Inside, 3 people wait. Rebecca Moss, who called him this morning, sits behind a desk. Beside her stands a man in an expensive suit, arms crossed, expression stern, and in the corner, leaning against a filing cabinet, is Victoria Sterling. Marcus's breath catches. She looks different than she did that night. Put together, powerful, every inch the CEO. Her eyes meet his briefly, then slide away. "Sit down, Mr. Chen," Rebecca says. He sits. The chair feels too small. Rebecca opens a folder. "We've asked you here to discuss a serious matter. 2 nights ago, you were seen on security footage entering a restricted warehouse owned by Sterling Tech. Can you explain what you were doing there?" Marcus's mouth goes dry. I was looking for Miss Sterling." The man in the suit speaks for the first time, voice cold. You were looking for the CEO at 11 p.m. in an abandoned warehouse. That sounds extremely concerning, Mr. Chen. It's not what you think, Marcus says quickly. She was upset. I was worried. So you followed her. The man's tone makes it sound predatory. No, I mean, yes, but not like that. Marcus looks at Victoria, pleading silently for her to say something, but she remains quiet, expression unreadable. Rebecca leans forward. Mr. Chen, do you understand how this looks? A janitor tracking down the CEO's location after hours, showing up uninvited at a private property, approaching her alone in an isolated area. I wasn't tracking her, Marcus protests. I just knew she was hurting and I wanted to make sure she was safe. The suit man scoffs. That's not your job. That's not your place. I was trying to help. Or you were trying to leverage your previous interaction with Miss Sterling into something more, Rebecca suggests coldly. Hoping for money, perhaps? Or favors? Marcus feels like he's been punched. No, that's not why I never asked her for anything. But you did approach her multiple times, first in the parking garage, then at the warehouse. You drove her home. You have her private address. Rebecca ticks off each point like an accusation. Can you see why this raises serious concerns? Marcus's hands clench into fists. I was being kind, that's all. She needed help, and I helped her. Kindness, the suit man repeats, dripping with skepticism. Is that what you call it? What would you call it? Marcus snaps, anger finally breaking through his fear. A human being was suffering and I sat with her. I made sure she got home safely. I didn't ask for money, didn't ask for her number, didn't take anything. I just helped because it was the right thing to do. Rebecca and the suit man exchange glances. The problem, Mr. Chen, Rebecca says slowly, is that your actions, however well-intentioned, violated multiple company policies. You accessed a restricted area without authorization. You involved yourself inappropriately with executive leadership. And you created a situation that could be perceived as threatening or invasive. Marcus's stomach drops. What are you saying? We're saying your employment with Sterling Tech is terminated, effective immediately. The words hang in the air like a death sentence. Marcus can't breathe, can't think. This can't be happening. Please, he whispers, please, I need this job. My daughter, I can't afford to lose this. You should have considered that before violating policy, the suit man says without sympathy. Marcus turns desperately to Victoria. She's been silent this entire time, watching the scene unfold. Miss Sterling, please, tell them it wasn't like they're saying. Victoria finally speaks, her voice quiet but firm. Thank you, Marcus. That will be all. The dismissal cuts deeper than anything else. After everything, after the parking garage and the warehouse and the tears and the vulnerability, she's just letting them destroy him. Victoria, he says, using her first name without thinking. Please. She flinches slightly at the familiarity. Mr. Chen, you're dismissed. Marcus stands slowly, legs unsteady. He looks at each of them, these people who hold his life in their hands, who've decided he's disposable, dangerous, unworthy of basic human decency. I'm sorry, he says, voice hollow. I'm sorry for caring about another person's pain. I'm sorry for trying to help. I won't make that mistake again. He turns and walks toward the door. Mr. Chen, Victoria calls. He stops, doesn't turn around. Leave your building access badge with the receptionist on your way out. He doesn't trust himself to speak, just nods and keeps walking. Marcus doesn't remember the elevator ride down, doesn't remember surrendering his badge, doesn't remember the bus ride home. His mind is blank, numb, protective static shielding him from the full weight of what just happened. He's fired. He has no job, no income, no way to provide for Lily. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. When he reaches the apartment, he unlocks the door and stands in the living room, staring at nothing. The lunch dishes still sit in the sink. Lily's drawings cover the walls. Her math homework from last night sits on the coffee table, problems solved in careful pencil marks. How is he going to tell her? He sinks onto the couch, head in his hands. For the first time in 4 years since his wife died and left him alone with a 4-year-old daughter and a mountain of medical debt, Marcus breaks, really breaks. He sobs into his palms, shoulders shaking, grief and fear and rage pouring out in waves. He cries for his wife, who would know what to do. He cries for his daughter, who deserves better than this constant struggle. And he cries for himself, for the small, foolish hope he'd allowed to grow, that maybe, just maybe, kindness still mattered in this world. It doesn't. He's learned that lesson now. At Sterling Tech Tower, the HR office empties. Rebecca and the lawyer leave, satisfied they've handled a potential liability. Only Victoria remains, standing by the window, staring down at the street 5 floors below. She watches Marcus emerge from the building, shoulders slumped, walking slowly toward the bus stop. Even from this distance, she can see his defeat. Her hands shake as she pulls out her phone and makes a call. "It's done," she says when the line connects. "Good," comes the reply. "Phase 1 complete. He's clear of the company now. You can move forward with the rest of the plan." "Are you sure this was the only way?" "Victoria, we've been over this. If you'd simply promoted him or given him money directly, the board would have questioned it. Corporate policy doesn't allow for that kind of favoritism without cause. But now that he's no longer an employee, you can do whatever you want. You're free to help him however you see fit." Victoria closes her eyes. "He hates me now." "Then you'll have to earn his trust back. But you knew this would be hard." "I know." She hangs up and immediately makes another call. "Deposit $50,000 into Marcus Chen's bank account, anonymously, tonight." "Done." Another call. "Contact Bay Area Housing Authority. I want to purchase the building where Marcus Chen lives. Full building. Have the papers drawn up by tomorrow." "Yes, Miss Sterling." One more call. "Eleanor, it's me. I need your help with something important." Marcus picks up Lily from school at 3:00 p.m., forcing a smile he doesn't feel. She chatters about her day, about the science project, about how her friend Mia shared cookies at lunch. He makes the appropriate sounds, asks the right questions, but inside, he's screaming. Back at the apartment, while Lily does homework at the kitchen table, Marcus opens his laptop and starts searching for jobs, anything. Warehouse work, retail, food service, delivery driving. He applies to 47 positions in 3 hours, knowing most won't even read his resume. At 6 p.m., he makes dinner, mac and cheese from a box. Lily eats happily, unaware that the box of pasta and the gallon of milk in the fridge represent the last of their grocery budget for the week. After dinner, after homework, after bath time and toothbrushing and story reading, Marcus tucks Lily into bed. "Daddy?" she asks sleepily. "Yeah, sweetheart." "Are you still scared?" He smooths her hair back from her forehead. "A little." "It'll be okay," she says with the absolute certainty only children possess. "You always figure it out." Marcus kisses her forehead. "Love you, kiddo." "Love you more, Daddy." He turns off the light and closes the door. Then he goes to his own room, sits on the edge of the bed, and stares at his bank account on his phone. Balance $847.32, rent due in 12 days. $1,200. With the increase, it'll be $1,400 next month. He has no idea how he's going to make it work. The next morning, Marcus wakes to his phone ringing, another unknown number. More bad news, probably. Hello? Mr. Chen, this is First National Bank. We're calling to confirm a deposit to your account. Marcus sits up. A deposit? Yes, sir. $50,000 was transferred into your checking account last night at 11:47 p.m. The room spins. $50,000. Yes, sir. We're required to verify large deposits. Can you confirm you were expecting this transfer? I know I wasn't. Who sent it? The transfer was anonymous, processed through a third-party service, but it's legitimate. The funds are available now. Marcus ends the call, opens his banking app with shaking hands. Balance $5,847.32. He stares at the number, trying to make sense of it. $50,000, enough to pay rent for 3 years, enough to buy groceries, new shoes for Lily, fix the car's transmission, enough to breathe. But who would do this? The answer arrives like cold certainty. Victoria. This is guilt money, payment for his silence, for going away quietly, for not making trouble. She fired him, and now she's trying to buy her conscience clean. Marcus's hands clench around the phone. He should be grateful. He should accept this gift and count his blessings. $50,000 would change everything for him and Lily. But it feels wrong, like charity, like pity, like he's being paid off to disappear from her life without complicating her tidy world. He opens his contacts, finds the number Victoria called him from that night at the warehouse. His thumb hovers over the call button. What would he even say? Before he can decide, his phone buzzes with a new text. Unknown number. Marcus, please check your mailbox. There's something there for you. V. He goes downstairs in his pajamas, unlocks the row of metal mailboxes in the building's entrance. Inside his box sits a thick manila envelope. Back upstairs, he opens it carefully. Inside are legal documents, lots of them. Purchase agreements, contracts, official letterhead from law firms he's never heard of. He reads slowly, trying to understand the legal language. Sterling Tech Foundation has purchased his apartment building. All tenants' leases are now held by the foundation. Rent is frozen at current rates for 5 years. No increases, no evictions except for cause. Maintenance and repairs will be fully funded. There's more. A letter on personal stationery, handwritten in elegant script. Marcus, I know you're angry. You have every right to be. What happened in the HR office was cruel, and I take full responsibility for not stopping it sooner. But I need you to understand something. As long as you were my employee, my hands were tied. Corporate policy, board oversight, liability concerns, all of it prevented me from truly helping you. I couldn't give you the opportunities you deserve. Without raising questions I couldn't answer, without exposing you to scrutiny you don't need. So I freed you. I know it hurt. I know you hate me for it. But now I can actually help. The money in your account is not charity. It's what you should have been earning all along if the system was fair. Your building is safe now. Your rent is protected. And I have more to offer if you'll let me. I started a foundation 6 weeks ago after my mother died. The Sterling Family Foundation for Working Parents. It provides emergency assistance, education funding, health care support, and job training for single parents and families in crisis. I want you to help me run it, not as a token, not as pity, because you understand what these families need in a way I never could. You've lived it. The salary is $125,000 a year, full benefits, flexible schedule so you can be there for Lily. You'd work directly with me to design programs, evaluate applications, make decisions about where resources go. I know I destroyed your trust. I know I need to earn it back, but I'm asking you to give me that chance. Please call me when you're ready to talk. Victoria. At the bottom of the letter is a phone number. Marcus reads the letter 3 times. Then he sets it down and stares at the wall. His first instinct is to refuse. to send the money back, to reject this whole thing, to maintain his dignity by rejecting her help. But then he thinks about Lily, about the groceries he can buy now, the medical checkups he's been postponing, the school supplies, the winter coat she needs, the field trips he's had to say no to. This isn't just about him anymore. It's about giving his daughter a chance at a better life. And maybe, if he's honest with himself, it's also about believing that Victoria's intentions are genuine. That despite the painful way she handled things, she's trying to make something right. He picks up his phone and dials the number. She answers on the first ring. "Marcus, why did you do it that way?" he asks quietly. "Why did you let them fire me like that?" "Because I couldn't help you otherwise," she says. And he hears genuine regret in her voice. The board would have questioned any promotion, any raise. They would have investigated our interactions, tried to find impropriety. You would have been scrutinized, possibly accused of worse things. I needed to separate you from the company completely before I could truly help you. You could have told me. I know, I should have. I was afraid you'd refuse, that you'd rather suffer than accept help you thought you hadn't earned. She pauses. Was I wrong? Marcus thinks about his pride, about how close he came to rejecting everything just to maintain his independence. No, he admits, you weren't wrong. So will you meet with me? Talk about the foundation? He takes a breath. Yes. Thank you, she whispers, and he hears something in her voice that sounds like hope. 1 week later, Marcus stands in front of the mirror, adjusting his new tie. It's the first tie he's owned that didn't come from a thrift store. Victoria sent it, along with 3 new suits, new shoes, new everything. He'd wanted to refuse, but she'd insisted. You're a director now, you need to look the part. Director of Family Services for the Sterling Family Foundation. It still doesn't feel real. Lily appears in the doorway wearing her school uniform, backpack already on. You look fancy, Daddy. He grins at her reflection. Too fancy? Nope, just right. She walks over, hugs him around the waist. I'm proud of you. His throat tightens. I'm proud of you too, kiddo. They walk to school together just like always, but this morning feels different, lighter, like the crushing weight Marcus has carried for 4 years has finally lifted enough for him to stand up straight. At the school gate, Lily turns to him. Daddy? Yeah? Is Miss Victoria nice? Marcus thinks about that. About the CEO who cried in a parking garage. About the woman who fired him to save him. About someone trying desperately to use her power for something good, even when it costs her. Yeah, he says. She's nice. She's learning how to be anyway. Lily nods, satisfied. Good. I like it when people are nice to you. After dropping her off, Marcus takes the bus downtown, not to Sterling Tech Tower, but to a smaller building 3 blocks away, the foundation offices newly established still being set up. Victoria waits in the lobby. She's dressed more casually than he's ever seen her. Slacks and a simple blouse, hair pulled back. She smiles when she sees him, tentative but genuine. Hi, she says. Hi, he replies. They stand there awkwardly for a moment, 2 people trying to figure out how to be in each other's lives after everything that's happened. Thank you, Marcus says finally, for all of it. The money, the building, this job. I know I didn't make it easy. You didn't owe me easy, Victoria replies. I owed you honesty and respect. I'm still learning how to give both. Me too, he admits. She gestures toward the elevator. Want to see what we're building? They ride up together in comfortable silence. The foundation offices take up the entire 3rd floor. Empty desks wait to be filled. Conference rooms stand ready for meetings that will change lives. Walls are covered with plans, programs, outreach strategies. Victoria walks Marcus through each space, explaining her vision. emergency cash assistance for families facing eviction, subsidized childcare, job training programs, medical expense support, college savings accounts. I want to help 1,000 families in the first year, she says, 5,000 by year 3, 10,000 by year 5. That's ambitious, Marcus says. I have resources most people don't. I should use them for something that matters. She looks at him. And I need someone who can tell me when I'm being out of touch, when my ideas won't work in reality, when I'm trying to solve problems I don't understand. That's my job? Part of it. The other part is identifying the families who need help most, designing programs that actually work, making sure we're measuring real impact, not just writing checks and feeling good about ourselves. Marcus thinks about all the nights he spent terrified about rent, about food, about keeping Lily safe and warm and fed, about the dozens of other families he knows living the same reality. I can do that, he says. I know you can. Victoria extends her hand. Partners? Marcus takes her hand, shakes it firmly. Partners? 6 months later, the Sterling Family Foundation Gala fills the ballroom of the Fairmont Hotel. 500 guests in evening wear, crystal chandeliers, a string quartet playing softly. It's the kind of event Marcus would never have been invited to before, the kind of room where people like him used to be invisible. But tonight, he stands near the front, wearing a tuxedo Victoria insisted he accept, watching the crowd gather. Lily sits at a table near the stage, wearing a velvet dress she picked out herself, chattering excitedly with Eleanor, Victoria's elderly board member who has taken an almost grandmotherly interest in the girl. They're looking at a tablet together, laughing at something. Marcus smiles. 6 months ago, he was sleeping 4 hours a night and eating ramen for dinner. Now his daughter has a mentor, a stable home, opportunities he never imagined. The foundation has helped 237 families so far, prevented 89 evictions, funded health care for 43 children, provided job training for 6 to 7 parents. Each number represents a life changed, a family given breathing room, hope restored. Victoria appears beside him, elegant in a midnight blue gown. Nervous? Terrified, he admits. You'll be great, just tell them the truth. A moment later, Victoria steps onto the stage. The room quiets. Good evening, she begins, her voice carrying easily. Thank you all for being here tonight. 6 months ago, I started this foundation because I realized something important. I realized that despite all my success, despite building a company worth billions, I had failed at the most basic human task, seeing the people around me. She pauses, letting the words settle. I was blind to suffering, blind to struggle, blind to the quiet heroism of people who show up every day, who do the hard work, who sacrifice everything for the people they love. People who keep our buildings clean, who care for our children, who hold society together while the rest of us chase profit margins. Marcus shifts uncomfortably as several people glance his way. One of those people saved my life when I needed it most, Victoria continues. He asked for nothing, expected nothing. He simply helped because it was right. And in doing so, he taught me what leadership actually means. She gestures toward Marcus. Please welcome Marcus Chen, our Director of Family Services. Applause fills the room as Marcus walks onto the stage. Victoria steps aside, giving him the microphone. He looks out at the sea of faces. Wealthy, powerful, influential. People who probably can't imagine what it's like to choose between groceries and medication, between rent and utilities. I'm not good at fancy speeches, Marcus begins, his voice rough. I'm better at mopping floors and making peanut butter sandwiches, but I'm here tonight to tell you about the families we've helped. Real people with real struggles. He tells them about Maria, a single mother of 3, who was facing eviction until the foundation paid her back rent and helped her find better employment. about James, a widower with 2 kids, who received childcare assistance that allowed him to accept a promotion he'd been turning down for years. About Keisha, whose son needed surgery the family couldn't afford until the foundation covered the medical expenses. These aren't charity cases, Marcus says firmly. These are strong, capable people who needed one break, one chance, one moment of breathing room. And with that, they've rebuilt their lives. He looks at Victoria. Miss Sterling gave me that chance. Not out of guilt, not out of pity, but because she finally understood that everyone deserves dignity, opportunity, and someone who sees them. His voice cracks slightly. For years, I was invisible. I cleaned offices where people walked past me like I didn't exist. I struggled in silence because I thought that's just what people like me had to do. But Victoria taught me something important. Being invisible isn't noble. It's a failure of the people who refuse to look. The room is completely silent now. So I'm asking all of you tonight, look at the people around you, really look. See the janitor, the server, the driver, the caregiver. Learn their names. Understand their struggles. And if you have the power to help, don't wait for them to ask. Don't wait for permission. Just help. He steps back from the microphone. The room explodes in applause. Victoria returns to the stage, wraps Marcus in a brief hug, whispers in his ear, "Thank you." As the gala continues, as donors make pledges and volunteers sign up and the foundation's future solidifies, Marcus slips away from the crowd. He finds Lily still at her table, now coloring in a book Eleanor brought. "Daddy!" She jumps up, hugs him. "You were so good!" He kneels down, holds her close. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" "I get to come home to you every night now. No more overnight shifts. No more falling asleep because I'm too tired to read you stories." Her eyes shine. "Really?" "Really." She throws her arms around his neck. Marcus closes his eyes, feeling the weight of everything that's changed, everything that's been restored. Later, as the gala winds down, Victoria finds him on the balcony overlooking the city. She stands beside him, both of them silent for a moment. "You know," she says finally, "that night in the parking garage, when you sat with me, I think that's when everything changed." "For me too," Marcus admits. "I've been thinking about something," Victoria says. "My mother used to tell me that wealth isn't measured in what you accumulate, but in what you share. I never understood what she meant until I met you." Marcus looks at her. "Your mother would be proud of what you're building." "I hope so." Victoria's voice is soft. "I hope she knows I'm finally learning." They stand together watching the city lights, 2 people from different worlds who've learned to see each other, who've built something meaningful from pain and kindness and unexpected connection. Inside, Lily waves at them through the glass doors, still coloring, safe and happy and surrounded by people who care. And for the first time in a very long time, Marcus feels something he hasn't felt in years. Peace, not the kind that comes from having everything figured out, but the kind that comes from knowing you're exactly where you need to be, with people who see you, value you, and believe in the work you're doing together. Victoria turns to him. "What are you thinking?" Marcus smiles. "That maybe the world isn't as broken as I thought. Maybe there's more kindness in it than I gave it credit for." "Or maybe," Victoria suggests gently, "you've always been part of that kindness, and you're just now seeing how much it matters." He considers that, then nods slowly. "Maybe." They return inside together, back to the gala, back to the work, back to the families waiting for help, back to the life they're building, one act of dignity at a time. And somewhere in the distance, the city continues breathing, filled with invisible people doing extraordinary things, waiting for someone to finally see them, waiting for someone who will. Epilogue. 2 years later, The Sterling Family Foundation now operates in 6 cities. They've helped 4,200 families. Marcus oversees a team of 30 staff members, many of them former recipients of foundation aid who wanted to give back. Lily is 10 now, thriving in a better school district, taking piano lessons, playing soccer. She still draws constantly, but now her pictures show not just superheroes, but real people doing real good. Marcus and Victoria working together. Families helped by the foundation. Eleanor teaching her chess. Victoria visits their apartment regularly, usually bringing dinner, always asking about Lily's day before discussing foundation business. She's learned to separate work from humanity, power from compassion. The apartment building Marcus lives in has become a model for affordable housing. The foundation bought 3 more buildings in low-income neighborhoods, implementing the same protections, the same care. One evening, as Marcus tucks Lily into bed, she asks the question she's asked before, the one that started everything. "Daddy, do you remember when I asked why your boss was sleeping in our car?" Marcus smiles. They never did get to that part of the story. It had been simpler than expected. Victoria had come to talk to Marcus after the warehouse incident, fallen asleep waiting in her car parked near his, exhausted from grief and sleeplessness. Lily had seen her on their way to school, asked the question that would eventually lead to everything changing. "I remember," he says. "Was she sad then?" "Very sad." "Is she still sad?" Marcus thinks about Victoria as he saw her today, laughing at something Eleanor said, ruffling Lily's hair, looking lighter than she did 2 years ago. "No," he says, "I don't think she is." "Good," Lily says, settling into her pillow, "because she's nice, and nice people shouldn't be sad." Marcus kisses her forehead. "You're right, kiddo. They shouldn't." As he turns out the light, his phone buzzes with a message from Victoria. "Board approved expanding to 3 more cities. We're going to help 10,000 families next year. Thank you for believing in this. Thank you for believing in me." Marcus types back, "Thank you for seeing me, for seeing all of us." Her reply comes instantly, "I'll never stop looking." Marcus sets his phone down, looks around his daughter's room at the drawings covering the walls, the books lining the shelves, the life they've built from kindness and second chances. And he thinks about how close he came to never trusting Victoria, to letting pride and hurt keep him from accepting help, from accepting partnership, from accepting that sometimes broken people can heal each other if they're brave enough to try. Outside, the city hums with life. Thousands of invisible people doing essential work, carrying quiet burdens, hoping someone will notice. And thanks to a janitor who showed kindness, to a CEO in a parking garage, and a CEO who learned to look beyond her own reflection, more people are being noticed every day, being seen, being valued, being helped. And that, Marcus thinks, as he closes his daughter's door and heads to his own room where a new day of meaningful work awaits, is everything. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.